We are next on to cheating death. Seriously, I think this is Sisyphus. It's an infamous story. Okay. Oh boy, we're gonna kick off the nerding early. Okay, that's why I'm just like, there's no real intro. I gotta kick off the nerding early because this is a question I get asked a lot. Hey, Mad, what's a good, usually ancient source for blank story? And this is where to tell everybody there is no good one-stop shop when it comes to mythology. Look, the Iliad and the Odyssey, these epics, something like those are rare. Most of the time when we're like, oh, who's the source of the story? I'll be like, for example, the stories of Sisyphus. The myth of Sisyphus, as we'll call it, like the whole story of the various tricks and whatever things he did, is a collation of writings from like 10 plus different writers. And even then, it's not like they devoted a whole work to the topic. It could be a fragment and something else. Like Pausanias mentions a bit about Sisyphus, and it's in this massive work he's already writing. And he's just like, oh, by the way, Sisyphus did this. And you're just like, okay, well, that's not part of the story. Cool, but I'm not going to read the whole work and say, well, this whole work is about Sisyphus. It's not. And a lot of the stories, for example, I'm assuming this is a cheating death. We're doing the infamous story involving Sisyphus, like, tricking or trying to kidnap, like, Thanatos, who is the god and embodiment or personification of death. He's a child of Nyx, who is the goddess and personification of night. The story of Sisyphus, again, is cobbled from, like, a ton of different writers. And even the story of him and Thanatos, you have, like, what, 5 to 10 different citations? And some of them are, it's like, well, it's coming from this lost play. Okay, well, we don't have the lost play, but that writer wrote a commentary on the lost play. Oh, and that guy made a reference to this over here, which is also lost to us, and they did it. You have to daisy chain your way through. And this is something I want to talk about only because, again, I constantly get asked, what's the good ancient source for XYZ? And I can never really give a good answer. And it's why I don't normally, when I get asked that, especially during book club, I'd be like, what's the good source for the House of Atreus? I'm like, oh, that's a lot of writers you're going to have to start reading, and a lot of different works, because there is no good one-stop shop. Because the ancient Greek mythology, which again was ever evolving and shifting, was highly localized and regionalized, so different places worship slightly differently. And then Rome entered the chat and took the Greek Olympians and then changed their names, changed their personalities, so made their own mythology, and it's very similar but not identical, and therefore not like, you can't just flip-flop between the two and say they're the same. You really can't.
I hate when people say that, because no, you can't.
It gets really confusing. And part of this is also the fact that when people who, especially classicists, to devote their lives to reading all of these different writers, and again, I'm not a classicist. My maternal grandfather is a now kind of fairly long since retired classicist, and I know how many writers he had to read, and in their original languages.
Show off.
This is research. What you're asking about is research, and research is never an easy one-stop shop. It's always having to basically collate and coalesce tons of different sources and sift through them, right? It's a long process that involves needing a lot of patience. And I say this as an almost like diatribe at the beginning, because actually I want to praise Casper, because I'm assuming if Casper's writing about Sisyphus, and if it's with the, again, level of integrity that I saw coming out of the first volume, which involved the Titanomachia and plenty of other things, I'm going, you had to read a lot. You have to read a lot, because even the story with Thanatos is going to have slight differences depending on whose, fragment or commentary on a fragment or a lost play or whatever you're reading. Also, was the play a satyr play? Was it satirical? Was it being serious? Like, you have to do a lot of reading and a lot of discerning. But I'm assuming this is Sisyphus. And I'm saying all this thinking, like, if this ends up not being Sisyphus, this is going to be a whole section I cut out to re-record an intro. It's going to be great. But yeah, I'm assuming this is Sisyphus. Sisyphus, who is one of the more, as I have said, slippery characters of Greek mythology. One of the slipperiest. And he's one of those characters who, like several others, like Tantalus, and like, if you're really known for the punishment you got in Tartarus, you were a special kind of Greek character. You're a character who decided, let's play the game of fuck around and find out with the gods. And all I can say is, boy, you dumb. You're supposed to be clever. This is the most unclever thing anybody could do. You know why? Because even if you think you win in the moment, ultimately you lose. You know why you lose? You die. End of story, you die. And then guess what? Hades is gonna go, so, Brother Zeus called in a favor. And, you know, the Erinyes have been a little bored lately. Dumb. It's so dumb. And honestly, Sisyphus is the type of character where the things he does, you know the type of person Sisyphus is? Sisyphus is the type of person who's like, I'm so smart. And I know I'm smart. So I'm gonna show off how smart I am. And I'm like never gonna let up about it. I'm gonna shove it in your face that I'm smart. Like, and be a real asshole about it. Not only that, I'm gonna use it to basically play pranks and practical jokes and take them way too fucking far. I never see anything wrong with that. Never gonna apologize for it. It's your fault for being stupid. And you just look at someone like Sisyphus and you go, no one's ever cracked you a good one across the cheek, have they? Yeah, no one's ever given you a good right across the face, have they? No, they haven't. Yeah, that's Sisyphus. He's special. His myths are fun, but you read them the whole time going, it's so dumb. Sure, maybe it's clever in the moment, but it's so dumb. You're so gonna pay for this. Ooh, yeah, he is. Uh-oh. Peg lost her ball. Hold on, I must retrieve the ball from under the couch. Did you lose your ball? Okay. Whew. Slight adventure under the couch for the ball whose squeaker she killed, and now she's looking at me. She's not even playing with it, really. Had me go under the couch for all that. I had to move the coffee table so I could properly get my arm under the couch. She doesn't care. You care? No. Anyway, we're gonna listen to Cheating Death.
You may have heard tell of this man. Trapped, strapped, shoving travel, and uphill at that. He's decided it's high time he told us his side. He's a little bit mad with his bruised, trampled pride.
Enmity, it can't be me. 3 felonies against 3 deities. That's my story.
Why does this make me think, like, my brain, because I swear I'm hearing a harmonica in here, which I also love all the other sound effects. It just makes me think of, like, gold miners. Like, the gold rush out west, 1800s, a saloon, people dressed as cowboys. I have no idea why. Maybe it's just the sound effect. I don't know. Look, we know my imagination is weird as shit. Seen so many pieces of media, read so many books. Okay, enmity. It can't be me. Felonies against 3 deities. That's my, yeah. So he's gonna run down all of them, I guess. I wondered if we were just gonna focus on the Thanatos one because of the title, Cheating Death, but there is technically like a story that leads to that, and then a whole nother one. Again, it's scattered across like dozens of writers. Which is, it's annoying as hell that it's scattered across dozens of writers. Like, do not get me wrong. Also, I don't know who's singing Sisyphus, but they absolutely have caught the vibe of this song.
But I'm capable of more. What goes up has to come down in cheating death.
Ooh.
What goes up has to come down in cheating death.
I like maracas.
I've always been out of line. I play with my realm of you.
I'm loving the sounds, like very organic percussive sounds, and I really like them. Yeah, what goes up has to come down. Look, I'll explain it, though I'm pretty sure Sisyphus's punishment in the underworld is pretty infamous. It's entered the pop culture, the idea of a Sisyphean task, which is he has this massive boulder he has to push all the way up to the top of the hill, and it's always just as it almost reaches the top. It rolls, he loses his grip, he slips, something happens, it's coming back all the way down. Now, all the while, you have the Erinyes, who get called the Furies, sometimes also known as the Eumenides. They are like whipping him, screaming. They are absolutely part of the game, just being like, get fucked. This is part of what they do. They do many things, but very infamously, they are involved in Tartarus, usually just tormenting the souls who are trapped there. And again, honestly, eat shit, Sisyphus. So look, again, nearly every character in Greek mythology is a flaming dumpster fire of a human, which I used that phrase to my dad the other day. I was over, so my dad's side is where I get the Greek side from, right? So I literally the other night was there eating souvlaki, with homemade tzatziki and the baklava and all the good shit. And I happened to be explaining a bit of the Iliad. I'm like, look, you just have to get shit. I mean, I was joking, like, man, for book club, I just tell people, like, you gotta get cool with shit real quick, because everybody's a flaming dumpster fire of a person. He was just like, flaming dumpster fire of a person. I'm like, but you know exactly the kind of asshole that is, too. He goes, no, yeah, I know exactly the type of person it is. It's just, I'm going, yeah, probably a phrase you've never heard before, but you know exactly the type of person it is, and Sisyphus is one of them. He's also the, I'm so smart. I'm gonna show off how smart I am and be a dick about it. At least Odysseus, when he does it, is kind of doing it playfully. It's not usually meant to cause harm. I mean, unless it's a mission, like the Trojan horse, or what happens with Polyphemus, in which case you have the heat of war, and the Polyphemus attacked you first and ate a bunch of your human friends. So, like, yeah, most of the time he's being cheeky, which actually Sisyphus in one writing, and I can't remember who it was, it might be a fragment of a Lost Play or something, they say that Sisyphus is the actual father of Odysseus, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. No, I don't want to hear it. That's weird. Get out. It's only one source. It's the only place you'll hear it. And I think it's one of the tragedians, and it might be one of their lost plays. But they're trying to explain, like, how is Odysseus so crafty? I'm like, he is not the same as Sisyphus, and he gets it from Autolycus, so fuck off. No. Yeah, we all know the type of person Sisyphus is. We all know this particular type of dumpster fire douchebag, let's be real.
Times, but reader, here's the jest. I bested the best of Olympus. I cheated there.
Okay, I bested the best of Olympus, which would technically mean Zeus. The only way he bested Zeus is that he narked him out. Like, that was one of the initial things that started this whole kerfuffle, is that so Zeus went and basically absconded with the daughter of a river god. It was like his nymph daughter, and, you know, they were kind of getting it on, doing nasty off somewhere. But this river god didn't know who had taken her. And Sisyphus happened to see the whole thing. Now, any smart person might have said, who do I risk? I mean, you're in a bad situation regardless, but do I risk pissing off Zeus? He narked. He absolutely sold Zeus out in a heartbeat to this river god, and it was a whole thing. So Zeus got pissed, and, like, it all spiraled out of control. Like, that's the origin of the kerfuffle that leads to Thanatos, which it's so random. Like, ultimately, it is so random. Like, it all had to do with Zeus, like, hooking up with some river god's nymph daughter. You saw it, you narked him, and then it spirals out of control. It's ridiculous.
What goes up has to...
Sorry, I just realized it's like, but then you then bested the best of Olympus, which is Zeus. It's like, you didn't really best him, you just narked him out to another guy, because he never really deals with Zeus specifically. It's Zeus sends other people, well, other gods, to deal with Sisyphus, because Zeus, again, is kind of ruling all the shit, so he's delegating. You know, he's delegating out. He's like, I'm not gonna deal with this myself, but can y'all go just, like, deal with this asshole? And look, I'm not saying you have to support Zeus and whatever he did, but Casper, I'm going to slightly come at you for that line, because again, the best of Olympus does imply Zeus. He never really deals with Zeus directly.
Come down, cheating death. What goes up has to come down.
This is such a bop. Oh, okay. One more thing coming in here, which it is almost funny to me, kind of almost how, like, bouncy and kind of perky and sort of fun this song is. I mean, it does also sound like a worker song, like you keep the tempo almost to, like, keep walking. But whoever is singing for Sisyphus, beautiful vibrato. I love vibrato. Some people don't like it, and I'm like, first off, vibrato is a sign you have a really healthy voice and diaphragm and everything else. Love the voice for Sisyphus, and the vibrato is gorgeous. It's so beautiful, and it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's so technically well done. It's one of those things where I hear this vibrato and there's nothing forced about it. It's just like, oh, that is such well-trained technique. So whoever's singing Sisyphus, somebody will tell me who is singing Sisyphus, because obviously I'm not looking right now and I don't know. And I can't really recognize the voice. I'm assuming everybody in the comments will tell me, like, I can't believe you didn't recognize this person. It's probably someone I know. And that, yes, he is classically trained. Like, sorry, you can just hear it. You listen, especially if you're like me and you're a nerd and you listen to like a lot of opera or, you know, kind of classical libretto when it comes to, so like lead, so also classical libretto being like a lot of lead, L-I-E-D, which are just songs, but like that kind of stuff in classic and classical rap, like you start to recognize people who've got that training.
I'm cheating death. What happened, dear readers, is pissed off to me. It all tracks back to that thunder guy, and pushing this boulder is tiring. I told her now Hades thinks I want his wife. You know why I'm that guy.
What happened to your readers who's pissed off Demeter till tracks back to that thunder guy, and pushing this boulder is tiring. I told her now Hades thinks I want. Oh. Aha. What happened to your readers who's pissed off Demeter till tracks back to that thunder guy? Yes, but Sisyphus and Demeter do not appear in myth together. So I'm wondering, Casper, I'm admittedly going to look at you through the lens, and mind you, I'm trying to recall all of this from memory, and I'm telling you Sisyphus is scattered across like dozens of writers. There is a mortal involved in the story of Demeter, again, especially with like Persephone, which is usually how Zeus has pissed off Demeter, involves Persephone, and could be maybe a kind of sly reference to Volume 1. There is a mortal involved in that story. But essentially, but it's not Sisyphus, it's somebody else. And I can't remember his name because I think it's the only myth he appears in. No, Sisyphus does not appear in any myths with Demeter. So I'm wondering, Casper, I will, as I say, act like you are watching and listening. Were you conflating Sisyphus with that character to like try and do like a sly reference to Volume 1? Because look, Zeus pisses off a lot of people, let's be real. Sisyphus also pisses off quite a few people, so honestly, birds of a feather, guys. But no, they don't appear in myth together. Casper, I think you were trying to be clever.
That's right. What goes up?
And then now Hades thinks I want his wife. You know why? I'm that guy. Sisyphus? No, but that idiot Pirithous sure did. And I'm pretty sure we have him. Look, it's something called like, I want a wife, give me a wife. I'm assuming that's Theseus and his idiot friend Pirithous. Sisyphus didn't. Now, there are some versions of one of the stories of Sisyphus that involve Persephone being the one to let him go. Now, you can look at that to something like an Orphic tradition, where Persephone is often cited as the one who is like incredibly moved by Orpheus wanting to take Eurydice or Eurydice out of the underworld. So you try and, you know, make poetic parallels there. But no, even that is not so much. There is a story that does involve Sisyphus and his own wife, which is like she does not send proper funerary gifts and the such for him. And so Sisyphus finagles his way to get sent back out of the underworld. Because technically he's not dead at that point. Again, it's a really long, convoluted story of like, what in the fuck is even happening? This has, you know, really blown up to a degree it did not have to. If Sisyphus had just, like, frankly accepted you pissed off the king of the gods by narking him out and just accept the fact that you're cooked. But he's like, no, I'm king, I'm not gonna. Which he was. He was king of, I think in ancient times it's called Ephyra. It's modern-day Corinth. But I'm wondering if that's maybe also why we're doing the reference to Persephone. But it's never the case of, like, anybody thinks he wants Persephone as his bride. No, his wife does feature in the story. Like she's mentioned, she plays a part, but she's just doing what Sisyphus tells her to do, and he's her husband and the king, and women were property, so like she doesn't have too much choice on that front. Interesting. And this is where I always say, like, this is the difficulty of picking a character like Sisyphus, where a lot of people will say they think they know the whole story, and I'll be like, you probably know a lot of the broad strokes, but when you start getting into the nitty-gritty, which is again across so many goddamn writers, and you're just playing a game of just like dig for buried treasure through these writers, you start realizing like, that's actually different. Okay. Sorry, no, I will continue then. I'll continue.
To come down cheating.
Ooh. Nice little rotate from like chest up into head.
Has to come down cheating.
Okay.
In my mind, I told no lie.
what? I was about to be like, what the fuck? And then I realized, no, this actually perfectly captures Sisyphus's character. This whole like, woe is me, I did nothing wrong. Why you mad?
Why are you mad, bro?
That is actually so Sisyphus. And I'm gonna say, Casper, I don't know if you meant though that stanza to be ironic, but it's really ironic. And it kind of fits. Sisyphus is definitely the guy who will deliberately do something terrible and be like, why you mad, bro? Like, he's the guy who wants to get the reaction, and then when you give him a reaction and you're rightfully pissed at him, he's like, why you mad? I told no lies. Oh, he lied. Look, he did not initially lie. He was right in telling that one river god that, yes, Zeus took your daughter. He tells, and he is he would make a good fae. It's like, can't lie. Oh, but I'm not telling you the whole truth, and I'm gonna use words carefully. He's a real dick. And he does kind of lie. It's like, I lived my life just trying to get by. Buddy, you were king of a theater. You weren't just trying to get by. You were a king. You were a sceptered king. Buddy. This must be ironic. I'm assuming, Casper, you did this deliberately to be ironic, especially because how it's being sung, there is such a kind of like, I would almost want to use the term cheeky, but I feel that's almost too innocent a word to use for Sisyphus. It is so deliberately rage baity. That's what it is. It's just like, I can't believe this is happening to me. Like, as much as he's not Narcissus, it's so narcissistic. And it's like, I don't get why everyone's mad at me. I did nothing wrong. Like, he very much has that attitude. I'm like, buddy, that is why you're in fucking Tartarus. It's why you're the type of person who would play fuck around and find out with the gods. So I have to assume this is just like brilliant irony. And it's actually, I mean, again, please tell me it is, Casper, because if not, I will come at you and be like, no, wait a minute, whoa, hold up. We are not gonna try and feel bad for Sisyphus. He fucked around and like really fucked around and found out. He deserved everything he got, basically.
Guess that was not enough.
Oh my god, the self-pity.
God gave me a spring through my city, but once again the thunder guy, I snitched on a deity, came back to bite me. Now I don't get to live or die. Wish I was beheaded. I can't get ahead while I'm down here. Instead I push behind the boulder. It rolls now, losing control. Now down the hill myself I find.
I love that. I love that little bit. And the tempo increases because obviously it's, oh, the boulder's rolling down. So he's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And he gets a little honest where he says, I snitched on that guy. Yeah, you snitched. Buddy, that's not doing nothing wrong. You snitched. You snitched. So it's, oh, that's interesting. I'm losing control. Now I don't get to live or die. He is technically dead, but the initial idea that involves like capturing Thanatos, part of the thing with his wife is while alive, he basically gets put into the underworld. And they're like, and that's sort of how he's able to, again, fuck around, find out, finagle his way out. But that does mean eventually when he does die, they're like, now you're not leaving. That's cute. Now you really get to find out, kind of thing. I like the idea that as it rolls down, it gets faster, and he kind of gets a little bit more honest, and he's doing it really quickly. So it's not even just that the boulder is speeding up because it's rolling downhill behind him, but it's kind of like he's trying to get part of the truth out because he doesn't want to admit to it, so he sneaks it out real fast. Like, oh, maybe you won't notice that I said I snitched on that guy. I was just trying to get by. I didn't do anything wrong. What do you mean I might have snitched on somebody? Like, yeah, this is really incredible musical irony. And actually also storytelling. As somebody who also really loves ballet, a lot of ballet is very silently dialogue heavy, not just in gestures that are done on stage. Obviously there is a whole pantomime language to ballet, but also with music and how motifs weave in and out, where silence is used, like how music is used to express the dialogue that's happening between characters. And in this case, the use of the change in tempo and how, I mean, again, the singer for Sisyphus, this is great. Like, I can feel the kind of like, oh, you have to feel so bad for me. It's so terrible to be here. I didn't do anything wrong. Oh my God, okay, I'm gonna snitch on the guy. Like, there's a whole character going on in here, and I do love that. Oh, this is such great use of musical irony. Few people can do irony really well, even fewer can do it in kind of like this kind of musical irony. Takes both a combination of really good lyrics. I mean, in the case of Sisyphus, you have to do research. Because initially, it's like I started, I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about? Demeter's not involved. He didn't want to take Persephone. That was somebody else. And maybe that could be a lean into, oh, by the way, you're going to hear that story of that moron too. Fucking Pirithous. Never over it. He is just the idiot friend Pirithous. Which is sad, because he could have been the hero remembered for being a part of the Kentauromachia and how that happened, which is this battle with the centaurs. But no, you just had to become that idiot friend Pirithous. But so writing, which involves research, and then also the performance. So again, a huge shout out to whoever is singing Sisyphus. Like, absolutely, the irony was caught, the irony was delivered. I kind of love it. I would almost say the only thing I would wish for, and there is nothing wrong with the song, I want to say, like, I'm really loving the musical construction of all this. I almost wish I could have heard the boulder, like, really rolling down a little louder. I get that could be a problem, as it might, like, having to balance that out with the singer. I just kind of I almost wish I heard more of the sound effect to help, because I could hear it. I almost wish it were louder. Maybe I heard it crash or something. I don't know. And this is just, like, that is not a critique of the song in the slightest. It's just one of those things where I'm like, oh, I almost wish I could have heard that, like, to bring the imagery even more up into my mind, because it's always imagined he's pushing up this massive, huge hill. So the thing's gonna roll for a while. It's gonna roll real fast. And like, you think of like the famous boulder rolling scene in Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, like, kind of thing.
What goes up has to come down, cheating death. What I get for cheating death.
Oh! Okay. I'll be goddamned. Yeah, no, that's a bop. It's seriously, all I imagine is almost like miners in the gold rush and like sitting around a campfire, the harmonica. They're little, I was calling them like, not maracas. I think I'm like the hand clapper things. It's not maracas, is it? No. Or maracas are things you shake. What the heck are these things called? Somebody will know what instrument I'm thinking of. They're little, the clapper thingies. Which would kind of go with, I mean, California and like the Latino influence and everything. I was like, there's just such an interesting set of sounds going on there that really sets, almost like a soundscape more than anything else. Like, they don't really add to the melody so much as like give you this like image in your head you should be imagining, which adds to the vibe and the atmosphere that then the melody and the choice of instruments for it set. And also, yeah, okay, Sisyphus, I heard you with that little bit at the end. I mean, going up real light and then a little riff down, like, okay. I like that. There's a little bit of sauciness there at the end, which was kind of fun, because like part of me wants to imagine like Sisyphus is fucking exhausted at this point. But it's also the fact that this never ends. I have to imagine there's almost a kind of ennui that you reach, like a kind of state of almost just like, I'm numb to this, but also I'm just gonna bitch. I'm gonna forever bitch. Like, oh, you must be new here? Let me tell you my story. What I do find interesting is that the lie he tells, essentially, which again is the irony. It's like, I told no lies. I'm like, you absolutely lied about that thing with Demeter and Persephone, because that's not the story. You're not in that story, buddy. And the lie has more details than the actual story. Like, he doesn't actually tell you the story at all. He doesn't tell you the story of like narking on Zeus, how Thanatos got sent out, how, you know, he kind of tricked him, how he also got told to go to Hades while he was still alive. So it's him in his human body. It's not even just his soul that went down. It's him, the whole fucking body that went down, which was a big deal to the ancient Greeks. Again, they're almost less concerned with what happens with the soul. Like the soul leaves the body, it goes to the underworld. That's whatever. The treatment of the body is super important. So the fact that they were like, you're gonna walk your living ass down to Hades and like go meet your partner, like that was a huge deal. You done fucked up and like found out. And again, that was part of how like where the funerary gifts and all the thing with his wife kind of gets involved. So then he gets to go back. It's the only reason he gets to go back, right? I mean, besides again him playing the game of fuck around and find out. Like, he never actually, when he's sort of starting to tell you a glimmer of the truth, he gives you almost no details. And so that's why I look at this and I go, this is actually pretty clever irony. The problem would be anybody who actually wants the story of Sisyphus is you're not going to get it here. You're not going to get much of any of it. I mean, the one brief reference is that I kind of narked on Zeus to a river god. You're not really told why, you're not told all the details. But the fact that this is essentially Sisyphus, like imagine again you're a new person who doesn't know his story and he's trying to get your sympathy. What's he gonna do? He's gonna fucking lie. He's gonna spin it to make him look like I'm not the bad guy. I'm not the bad guy. I don't know why they got mad. They totally misunderstood my intention. It's like, oh buddy, no they didn't. Oh no they didn't. They absolutely saw you for the slippery asshole that you are. Bless. You'd want to say, oh, bless his heart, but no, you're just kind of a dick. Again, I love all these trash Greek men. My trash Greek men and their big Greek feelings, fucking love them. Fucking love them to pieces. They're so messy. Greek mythology is the messiest shit you'll ever read, and I adore it. Sorry, it's better than any reality show. It's messy as hell. It's amazing. But yeah, no, this is a piece of kind of like irony, musical irony. It's really quite brilliant, actually. This is not what I would have expected. Like, I would have thought, oh, I'm actually going to get the story. And it took me a second, Casper, it did take me a second to catch on to what you were doing. But as the lyrics kept going, and again, shout out to Mary for giving me the libretto so I could really look at it. That was really fucking clever. That's so clever. I can say if you do know the actual story and you do know who Sisyphus is, you'll get it. My one worry would be like if you have no idea about the kind of character Sisyphus is and you know his actual stories, again scattered across like so many different writers and in fragments. It's such a pain. Oh my god, I cannot tell you how much of a pain it is to try and find like these stories. You're just like, I would like to bash my head into a wall, please. Like if you do not know this, the irony might go over your head. Now, I would hope if you've got experience with like study of music and musical storytelling, you might catch on to it. And like the way language and linguistics work, again, I think the lyrics are really clever, like how he's a little more specific when he's telling a flat out lie versus then where it's like, wait a minute, what's this about a river god? What's this about you snitching on a deity? So what actually happened? So there's all these little clues that are really wonderfully left in the lyrics to give you a hint that Sisyphus is full of shit. He's so full of it. It does make me wonder, because again, I remember the next one is like something like can't be full, never be full, where I was like, I think that's Tantalus with Pelops, and Tantalus is a very famous punishment in the underworld. And then if we're doing Theseus and the Idiot for Empirithous, I'm wondering if all three of these songs are going to be really ironic. Like they're all essentially going to be these guys going, woe is me, I did nothing wrong. Like, I don't know why they got so mad. I mean, I don't know what kind of leg Tantalus will have to stand on, like, buddy. Unless, Casper, you read Pindar and are going to give me a song that'll make me cackle because you go for Pindar's absolutely batshit Tantalus did nothing wrong version. We talked about this in Iliad Book Club because, again, I had mentioned that Atreus and Thyestes are children of Pelops, who's a child of Tantalus. And there is a writer called Pindar. As a version of the story of Tantalus and Pelops, and Tantalus infamously killing his son, feeding him to the gods. He's like, so no, that was all propaganda by Tantalus' neighbors. He did nothing wrong. Literally what his version boils down to. And you're sitting there going, uh-huh. So they were jealous that he was so rich. They made up a story that gruesome. So then why did he get punished, though? I'm just saying, why did he get punished, though? I'm wondering now, are we going to get basically the oh, woe is me side? Am I going to get to sort of like cackle with delight and be like, oh, you poor idiot Greek men who played fuck around and find out with the gods. Let me play the world's tiniest little violin for you. Sorry. So back to this. This was fun. This was really fun. Like, again, once I realized it was irony and I could kind of just like cackle maliciously at it in like a good, like not maliciously, deviously. That's the word. I could just sort of cackle deviously at it and just be like, oh, okay. No, this is fun. This is fun. Casper, you continue to be very clever and please me in like the most nerdy ways. That gives me joy.